Good evening, and thank you in advance for watching this video. I am Ella B, your healing coach, motivational speaker. Um, I am a miso mommy, and I support moms in my community by giving them a safe space to come and release. And every once in a while, we do events where they can really enjoy themselves, like day parties and brunches. And I'm really excited about that, but that's not why I'm here. Today is all about barefaced confessions. And basically, what that is me using you guys as my mirror and talking to myself first, and hopefully someone catches what I'm saying and they can apply it to their lives. Barefaced Confessions is about transparency, accountability, authenticity, and God's word. And when I say God's word, a lot of people think that I'm strictly going on off the Bible, but that's not the only way that God speaks to us. So however he speaks to me and however he shows up to me and for me is what I will give back to you guys as a lesson. Anything I talk about is my own personal experience. And if it's not, I will put that disclaimer out. But as of right now, I'm only talking about my experiences. And with this being my first lengthy video, I wanted to talk about how I fell off, because I really did. I fell off from God. There was a point in time when all I wanted to do was be in his presence. All I wanted to do was pray, read my Bible, watch sermons. Like, I OD'd on that stuff. And then one day no, I'm not going to say one day because it happened gradually. But one day I just woke up and I was just like, I'm not feeling it. I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to read my word. People got on my nerves, like really got on my nerves. I was angry. And when I talk about this particular experience, I need you guys to know that this was literally a few weeks ago. Like, last week was the hardest week of my life because I was angry. I was bitter. I was upset. I wanted to fight. And never in my life have I wished a nigga would. But that week, I wished a nigga would. And a nigga almost tried it in front of my kids. And it was going to get a 2-piece and 3 biscuits. Because I was feeling generous with the hands. But I realized that when you're very emotional, the devil will use these things to distract you and take you over the edge. And if you're not mindful about who you are and whose you are, you will go over the deep end in the wrong direction. So I realized last week that I had to find my way back. And it wasn't easy. It's still not easy. People still aggravating the heck out of me. But I had to step back, take a few steps back, and really sit down with myself and figure out where did all of that come from. And if it sounds like I'm elevating my voice, it's raining outside, and this is just the perfect time to be talking to you guys. But I tried to do things my way. I tried doing things people way, other people's way. I tried hanging out in the world, and I still felt empty. I started smoking weed, y'all. And let me tell you something about weed. I'm going to be completely honest. If you were angry, agitated, frustrated, irritated, ready to fight, want to blow some stuff up, want to beat somebody up, and you smoke some weed, that weed going to have you right. And so I started smoking weed again, because this is not my first rodeo. I started smoking weed because it calmed me down, and I was able to process my thoughts and really just like, you know what, Ella, you tripping. You gotta do better, have that conversation with myself the way that I knew I could, because without the weed I couldn't have a conversation with myself, because myself told me go beat these people up or cuss this person out or don't show up for that. Don't go to work because them people gonna piss you off and then you gonna get fired. Like, so many negative thoughts were going through my head, and if anybody knows me, I like to think that I'm a very positive person. So weed puts me in a place where I could just chill. Like, I mellowed out. I smile a little bit more. But even after the high, I still felt empty. And when my high came down, I was restless. Y'all, I keep looking down because I wrote notes so I don't forget. But when my high came down, I felt restless, really irritated, like I stated before. And so I had to fall back from people, from places, from things, and just really get with myself to figure out what it was, because I was losing people, like friends, family members. We fell out, wasn't talking, money, material things, and it didn't sit well with me. But in my mind, it was everybody else's fault. But when I had that sit down with myself, because you have to do that, you have to talk to yourself. You have to analyze what's going on, because there may be a lot of problems surrounding you. But if you can't figure out how you play a role in all of the problems that you're going through, then you have an even bigger issue than you think you do. So God took me to 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5 through 7. And it says, examine yourselves, whether you be in faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not yourselves how that Jesus is in you, except ye be reprobates. But I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates. And what a reprobate is, it's a Greek word. And if I just slaughter this word, forgive me in advance, but adokimos, which means unapproved, rejected, worthless, or cast away. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a reprobate. I don't have a reprobate mind, personality, nothing. Like, that wasn't me. So I was like, okay, God, why did you bring me to this scripture? And basically what he told me is examine myself, because all these things are not happening to me by happenstance. What am I doing? Why am I so angry? When did I become angry? And that's when I started asking the who, what, where, when, why, and how. The first question I asked was, what changed? And it was my attitude. When did it change? Now that part I can't say for sure, because so much has happened and I just let it roll off my back, or I thought I did, but what I really did was pick it up and hold it in my heart, and so my heart got heavy. But when my heart got heavy and I wanted to cry, I got angry for wanting to cry, because what are you crying for? You understand? These are the questions that I asked. What are you crying for? And then I had to get real with myself. You're crying because of you. Because a lot of the things that you went through happened because of decisions you made or you did not make. A lot of the things that you're going through is because you allowed it. People treated you the way that they treated you because you allowed it. When you didn't say something the first time it happened, you made that person or those people believe that it was true. Not true. You made them believe that it was okay. So they kept doing it. So once my heart got heavy and I wanted to cry, I became angry. And then when I had that conversation with myself about it being my fault, it made me angrier, because it's just like, what are you doing? Why are you allowing this? And then it takes me back to the self-esteem. And so I want to say to you guys, whenever you're faced with a situation that you can't understand, ask yourself who, what, where, when, why, and how. And when you can answer all those questions, you'll get to the bottom of why a thing is a thing, or why whatever's happening is happening. And then I said, when did it change? I couldn't figure that part out. Why did it change? Why did my feelings and my emotions change? And I'm sharing this with y'all. I didn't talk about this with not too many people, but my feelings started to change when I went back to my marriage. And now that I'm saying this, it's making me realize that when I decided to leave again for good, that's when my mood changed. That's when I became angry. That's when I became bitter. That's when I started to feel ashamed. That's when I was hurt, like hurt to my core, because things didn't work out the way that I expected it to. And that was another problem. When you try to control what God is supposed to control, you're going to always end up disappointed. Because though this is your life, you are here for His purpose. And whatever doesn't align with Him is going to bring you hell and chaos. And hell and chaos is confusion, and He is not the author of confusion. And I had to go through these experiences to get to this very point so that I could say these very things to you, because there was a time when I did not know. And there was a time when someone like me was telling me what I'm telling you, and I didn't want to listen, because Miss Hard-Headed Ella B always have to learn through experience. But now I'm in a space where I can learn vicariously. If you go through it, I can learn my lesson from it. And I know not what to do. The other question I asked is who triggered me, or who triggers me? Who brought on this change? I know who my triggers are. And if I could be completely honest, I am my first trigger, because I don't honor me. I don't honor my word to others or myself. I don't fully respect me, because I still allow people to do things to hurt me. And when I say allow, I really do mean that, because you have a choice to be present or absent in someone's life. And you also have a choice to allow someone to be present or absent in your life. So whatever you expect or accept is what you have to deal with until you decide that you don't want to anymore. The next question I asked, the last question really, was where does the shift need to take place? Because shift happens. But shift. Shift happens. And when shift happens, you have to examine yourself. You got to ask the hard questions. The questions that would make you go off on somebody if they asked you. And you have to answer those questions, because you cannot fully heal from whatever it is you're going through, growing through, if you don't face it and address it and confess it and accept it and release it. Hey, I almost freestyled a little bit, y'all. Y'all caught that? Anyway, I'm not a freestyler. I would be horrible at that. But yeah, God asked me to examine myself. And that's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Hence why I'm doing Barefaced Confessions. He has been pushing me for the longest to do Barefaced Confessions consistently. But because I constantly have to look in the mirror, I didn't want to do it. I'm no longer afraid of speaking my truth, allowing other people to hear my truth, being judged by other people, because what I've learned is everybody's going through something. Most people talk about it and some don't. I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to speak about the things that I go through, because somebody that's watching may be going through the same thing. And my testimony could be their lifesaver, to literally pull them out of their storm or pull them out of the flood, because they feel like they're up to their neck in it and they are so afraid of drowning. But let me tell you something. If that person is you and you're afraid of drowning, just know that you won't. If you just stop paddling and trying to gasp for air and really just and trust that God has you, just like he did the last time. There's nothing you can't get through. This life is not made for you to completely understand what is going on. He gives it to you in bits and pieces. And if you're obedient to the sound of his voice, and if you move when he say move, and stay still when he says stay still, be quiet when he says be quiet, you'll be perfectly fine. Where I was last year, I've come a long way. I was depressed. I was angry. just everything negative. I was that. And it took the strength of God, my own prayers, people that loved and cared about me praying, and me really doing the work to come up out of that. It took all of that to get me here today. And I am proud of where I am. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in a better space. I can think a lot clearer, and I can be of service to those that truly need me. I just wanted to share that with you guys. This Barefaced Confessions was called Gotta Find My Way Back. And that's my mission, because I fell off. Like I started out saying, I fell at some point in my life, I fell off. And I got to get back to that peace. I got to get back to joy. I got to get back to happiness. Those are the things that people didn't give me, and they can't take it away. So I'm not going to look for those things in others, because everything I need is inside of me. And I'm saying this to you. Every single thing that you need is already placed on the inside of you. And the situations that you're going through are happening to pull them out. You can't run. Let me tell you something. Running is literally you going in circles. And God is just watching, like, when you're tired of running in circles, come holler at me. And I'm going to tell you what you need to do to move forward. Because going back there ain't it. And this circus that you got going on, that's not it. Your blessing is wrapped up inside of your surrender. I had to learn that the hard way. But I used to tell God, I'm not surrendering, because I don't even understand what that is. How do you surrender? And I would ask people, and they would give me their definition of surrender, and it just did not make sense to me. But when I went and seek for myself, what he gave me was to surrender is just to listen to my voice. Listen to what I'm saying and follow it. That's how you surrender. You got to trust your gut. It never steers you wrong. Or maybe you call it intuition. Whatever you call it, I'm telling you, it's God. And it's not going to steer you wrong. Before we end this barefaced confession, I just really want to, first, I want us to take 3 deep breaths. 1, 2, 3, go. Again. Last one. My prayer is that wherever you are in your life, you find peace. And in that peace, you find the pieces of you, and you allow God to put it back together. Because the glue that you're using does not stick. But when he pieces you back together, he pieces perfection. It's not going to be easy. Doing the work to heal is hard. It hurts. It's aggravating. And a lot of people won't understand or accept you. But that's okay, because you're not here for them. You see, there's a tribe out there that's depending on you to get it right. And until you do, they're still lost. And whether you want to believe that or not, it's happening. Life is going on, and the longer you take to get you together, the longer it takes for them. But I don't want you to focus on the tribe. They're important. But you are important as well. And if you ain't right, nobody you love is right. If you're not right, the people around you are not right. Analyze your circle. If your circle has to be a dot that you could write, literally a dot, like a dot you do with a pen or a pencil, then let it be that. But surround yourself with people that are going to hold you accountable. People that are going to love you. And love is not just, oh my God, I love you, I'll do anything for you. No. Love is being open, honest, and straightforward. People that's going to tell you to get your shit together. Because deep down inside, you know that's what you have to do. Hang around those people. That's going to confront you when you're doing weird things, you being crazy. Check your circle. Check yourself. But check yourself first. And then check your circle. And then pay attention to what you're feeding yourself. Physical food, yes. Mental food. Spiritual. What you watching. What you listening to. All of that plays a role in who you are and where you're going. Pray without ceasing. That doesn't mean you got to be falling out on the ground crying and rolling and praying to God. No. A conversation, like really talk to him, because he listens. When you start to talk to him more and then you listen for his response, you will realize that he's in everything. He is everything. Sometimes he speaks in nature. Sometimes it's that little still voice on the inside of you, or a message someone sends you, or something you see on social media. We call it confirmation, but it's the answer from God. Stay focused. Love on the people that love you, because that's therapy. It really is. A lot of my hard times weren't as hard because I surrounded myself with people that loved me the way I loved them. It made it a little easier to push through. Find out what your why is. And your why doesn't always have to be your kids or a significant other. It could literally be you. You could literally wake up and say, I'm tired of my own BS. And this is why I gotta go hard. Or I owe this to myself. Because I did myself so dirty all these years. Whatever it is for you, it's time to get right. This is your confirmation that it is time to get right. Do the work. Do the work. And don't be afraid. And always know that you have an accountability buddy, and her name is Ella B, and she loves you very much. And she is always willing to listen, to respond, whatever you need from her. You can inbox me. If you have my number, you can call me, but you can inbox me. And I'll get back to you, I promise. I always reply to people that reach out to me. So just know that you're not alone. Even if I'm unavailable at the moment, you're never alone, because you always have God. And I recommend that you take everything to him in prayer first. I'm Ella B, your healing coach. I love y'all. I thank you for the support, and I will be seeing you guys soon. Have a good night.